We're back in the lockdown void, making lockdown videos. This is part 3 of the quest for dominance, um, position before submission. I was quite excited to actually teach this one. It's become such a integral part of how I actually perceive jiu-jitsu that I forget to talk about it, and when I remember it, it makes me super excited. Uh, as I was starting out as a white belt, I never really understood this idea of position before submission. I just wanted to win, and submission seemed the best way of getting this. Especially with the advent of leg locks, it doesn't really make sense sometimes, this mentality. Um, but where does it come from? And if you look at, I think it was Danaher said something about this. Um, but if you look at the actual understanding of where points came from in jiu-jitsu, um, it kind of makes sense from a fight perspective. So you have the takedown, which is worth 2 points because you have taken someone out of their uh, straight athleticism, which you have predominantly whilst you're standing, and put them on the ground whilst you're still upright. You've taken them into the world of jiu-jitsu. It's only worth 2 points because you haven't got past the most important part of their body, the most dangerous, their legs. They still have the opportunity to kick you and do some incredible damage. That is why guard pass is worth 3 points. You got past the most dangerous part of their body. And that's why side control is worth nothing. Because the dominant positions are based on how much you could punch that person. Side control is not really worth anything. Neon Bully is worth 2 because you have a semi-stable base to start leathering them. Mount and rear mount are worth 4 because you've now got a great base and you can just go to town. It makes sense from a general perspective of fighting. I know it's very basic understanding of it. It doesn't factor in where MMA has come over those years since this was kind of developed, but there's a rough idea to it. And that's why you only really earn points on the bottom from sweeping because you've done a takedown. You've taken them into a situation where you can start punching them. Obviously, reversals would make sense as well, but jiu-jitsu people hate wrestlers. Um, so how does this then affect the quest for dominance? Um, I've seen this a lot when it comes to competing, especially in regular run-of-the-mill jiu-jitsu, again ignoring leg locks. Position matters. Be the guy on top. Chris Hoyer has screamed this in his own special way so many times, and so many coaches have said it. And I've heard it so many times as well. I didn't really click it until I think it was written on one of the inside of my gis once, and I was like, I understand this now. And maybe I should put more nuggets of truth on clothing, and maybe people understand jiu-jitsu more. Or maybe it was just me. So it was only watching a competition. I think I was about a brown belt at the time. I was watching a local competition with white belts and blue belts. I was watching these blue belts attack each other like mental, and they'd go for the most insanely. They'd work to get top position. They'd go for these insanely cool like looking arm bars, and they completely fluff it, and then they'd be on their back. That doesn't make any sense from a fight perspective. Do not do a submission or anything that requires your back to touch the floor. Because if you mess up, you are the person on the bottom now. It's going to be very hard for you to get the points back because you're the person on the bottom. You went through all that work, and you're now carrying the other person. It's a lot harder physically in jiu-jitsu to be the guy on the bottom. It takes a lot more muscle recruitment to actually fight back than it is to be the guy on the top. We are built to be upright, and so that's probably why white belts find jiu-jitsu so tiring, and why high belts start to get a bit out of shape. It's because you spend most of the time on top, and it doesn't require as much work. That being said, enjoy jiu-jitsu, enjoy the process in the gym, enjoy the fun or the fun movements that you can do. It's a great dance. But if you intend to win, especially in competition, being the guy on top matters. So it's good to get this practice in as well. And doing things that don't require your back to touch the floor. So don't go for the crazy looking armbar from mount that requires your back to hit the floor, because if you mess up, you are now back in guard. Go for the regular kind of Jiu-Jitsu arm straight out arm bars where you stay on top. When I get back in the gym, hopefully I can do a quick video on one of those just to add to this. Cross collar chokes and mount, because the benefit of these is if you mess it up, you have not lost the position. And this is where position over submission comes in, is that do not do a submission that requires you to lose your position. Because if you mess up, you've messed up everything. It's better to mess up the submission, like get bronked a little bit and have to put your hands out, and then go straight back into it. You didn't lose the position. If you have good positional dominance and you can keep doing this submission, you drain the life out of your partner because they are having to carry you. You are on top. Their muscle recruitment's a lot higher than yours. It is also in competition debilitating when it comes to points. They can look across, see that the person on the bottom, see they're down on points, and they've got no real recourse for improving that. They kind of need you to be an idiot and throw you back on the floor. But if you can just stay on top and stay disciplined with that, everything's just not in their favor. It's going to break them mentally as well. So you can break people physically in the gym just by making them carry you for so long. You can break people mentally in competition by, again, making them carry you, but also killing them on points. Because as much as it sucks, and I know this for a fact, that when you lose on points, like, oh, in a real fight, I probably would have won, I probably would have submitted them. Yeah, in a real fight, they would have punched you more, probably, because they were the person on top. So if the points reflect that, then yeah, you probably would have lost more in a fight anyway. Again, disclaimer, don't do this all the time. Jiu-Jitsu is fun. Jiu-Jitsu is about movement. It's about expression. But sometimes it also needs to be about kicking ass. So try and make sure you have a bank of submissions that you know you can pull off without losing the position you've already gained. That if you were to mess it up, you can keep the position and go straight back into submitting again. I hope that video makes sense. I hope that if you're especially for white belt or blue belt and you're looking at competing and you want to have like a good game plan going forwards, that is a basic one that will serve you really well. Don't get teased as well. As much as that back control looks really nice, if your back is touching the floor because of it, like, and they mess up, you are back in guard. You are back in closed guard. Like, you may get the bow and arrow, but you might not. It depends how much you want to win. But letting someone spin from under your mount, you take their back, they spin again, don't get teased by it, let them spin. You got mount back, you're now 8 points up, 12 points up even. Cool. And they're still carrying you, and you still got opportunity to submit them. Position over submission. I wish someone explained this to me this simply when I first started. Please leave comments, go on the Discord channel, let me know what you thought of this, and thank you for your time.